You may feel like Miner's default utility, Backblast, is really not that exciting. I get you, sure it stuns and it deals decent damage, but after all, it's just a short backdash that cancels its momentum the very moment it ends. But what if I told you that you can keep that momentum and turn the Backblast into an awesome movement tool? For the past couple days, I've been slowly grinding away at the final Providence trial Judgment as Miner. I don't really like any of its starting skins, nor the pink one you get from another trial, so I jumped at his Judgment skin as kind of a last resort. Anyway, in one of my later attempts, I accidentally pulled off something that completely changed my mind about Backblast. By using it in midair and immediately following up with Miner's special, I not only got vertical momentum from the latter, but also kept the horizontal momentum from Backblast. Throughout the rest of the video, I'll be calling this, which I feel pretty confident to call movement tech, backflipping. So how do you do a backflip? If you try jumping, backblasting and using Miner's special in a freshly started run, you'll be quick to notice things aren't exactly going as they're supposed to. This confused me as well when I started looking for a consistent way to backflip, but in the end I figured out there was a key to this tech: attack speed. As little as a single soldier syringe worth of attack speed increase is enough to make you start flying around the map, without even using up any of your hit gauge. In other words, just about any source of extra attack speed should be good to get the stack going. Once you have your attack speed boost, backflip won't need any precise timing or skill, besides one small detail: you must not hold either your left or right controls. There is more to say about this, but we'll get back to it later. Now that we've gone over how to execute backflips, let's have a look at how to make the best of them. Needless to say, they are a very powerful mobility tool right from their initial state, but it would be a big understatement to say you cannot improve them even further. A good starting point would be to take height into account. You only keep most of your horizontal momentum as long as you are in midair, so the higher up you initiate your backflips, the further you'll go. Your horizontal momentum doesn't vanish instantly when you touch the floor either though, which is why bunny hopping after a backflip is going to help stretch out its length ever so slightly. There are some good item synergies to keep an eye out for too. Some no-brainers are Hardlight Afterburner, Photon, or to a much lesser extent, Rusty Jetpack, and Hopu Feather. But keep in mind that your speed does affect Miner's Backblast, the very source of your backflip's horizontal momentum. A single red whip will drastically improve your backflip's distance even in Miner's normal state, let alone with Scorching. Wait, haven't I said anything about backflipping while Scorching? Whereas normal backflips work well enough for a quick getaway in the middle of a fight, Scorching backflips are by far the way to go when you need to fly over a map in just a few seconds. Obviously, do keep an eye out for walls in your way, unless you fancy losing all of your speed in a moment's notice. But what about backflipping into a fight? That's where your left and right controls come in, together with what I'll call air braking. Moving horizontally during a backflip will instantly bring your momentum down to your speed stat, so you can air brake right above a group of enemies and actually hurt them with Miner's special, rather than using it exclusively as a movement tool. Now here's the thing, this last bit about air braking, it doesn't just apply to Miner but to all survivors. In other words, by not moving horizontally while in midair, you can preserve your horizontal momentum indefinitely, or well, close enough. And this is exactly the foundation of Miner's backflips, and also Pilot's wave dashes, which I learned from We Are Whisper's excellent video on that movement tech. What I'm trying to say by this is that potentially any survivor with skills involving horizontal movement might actually have awesome movement tech as well, just like Miner and Pilot. Maybe it's hidden by an item requirement like the backflips we discussed in this video, or maybe it's just a skill combination nobody has tried out yet. I guess time will tell. Don't let that discourage you though, some survivors can already make immense use of momentum preservation, even without overly fancy stuff like wave dashing and backflipping. Loader is the first example coming to mind. In fact, I'm pretty sure that this whole final section surprised Loader mains the least, if at all. I mean, I do find it pretty hard to enjoy Loader gameplay when you're erasing the momentum of all of your grapples. I feel like I'm stating the obvious here, but I guess this is bound to help at least one player who is new to Loader and didn't know about this. Loader aside though, another good example given this video's topic is, you guessed it, Miner. You may have already noticed this in my test footage, but when I don't have enough attack speed backflip, I preserve his secondary's momentum to cover large distances at a much faster pace. Well, I hope you learned something new from this, and before you go, I urge you to go check out We Are Whisper's channel. I only discovered him a few days ago, but I've already fallen in love with a series of how to play survivors videos about Risk-Covering returns. I already used to play Risk-Covering 1 in the past, and I'm accustomed to a bunch of its survivors, but his videos taught me a lot regardless. Not to mention I learned pilot wave dashing from him, and other than completely changing my pilot gameplay, his video on a survivor movement tech has also been a big inspiration for me to make one as well. And with that, I believe I covered everything I had. Again, I hope you've enjoyed this video, my first voice one, hopefully it doesn't suck too bad, and I wish you all a good day. See you next time.